So the fourth one we're going to talk about is the wave of conscious solutions. And this ties right into my beginning on where does wealth get created. It's only one place it gets created from, not the manipulation of wealth, mind you, like those geniuses at Enron were so good at, but the creation of wealth. Where does it come from? It ties right into this wave of conscious solutions, because what we're seeing, and again, it's only the beginning, is that all of the tools and the techniques that millions of people used for their personal growth, for their personal development, are slowly finding their way into corporations, hundreds, probably thousands. I can't prove to you that it's thousands, but I can deduce that it is, of companies sponsor corporate meditation seminars. Certainly Yahoo, Google, Apple, all of those guys, Cisco Systems, those I've all been able to track down, have company-sponsored meditation courses. But so do some straight-laced companies like McKinsey and AstraZeneca and IBM, companies like that. Now, one of the reasons they do this, and they might even tell you the reason they do this, is because meditation is the best antidote to what's killing all of us, and that, of course, is stress. Stress costs American business $200 billion a year, and so it is well worth it if meditation cuts down on stress, as it has been documented scientifically to do, and along with all of its other benefits. But meditation also fires up those alpha waves, those delta waves, those theta brain waves that are critical, that are essential for the kind of creativity and innovation that comes out of this consciousness that I've been talking about. And so it's little wonder that these high-tech firms are taking the lead. As Bill George, the now retired CEO and chairman of Medtronic, told me, I get my best ideas meditating. But again, we haven't even begun. And I so hope that my book inspires some studies. We haven't even begun to see the extent to which these conscious techniques increase productivity. But I do have one fabulous example for you. Fred Luskin. Has anyone ever heard of Fred Luskin and forgiveness training? Fred Luskin is out of Stanford University. He is an expert in the spiritual value of forgiveness. He goes all over the world, Northern Ireland, places like that, working with people, teaching people how to let go, how to forgive, how to move on. He works with bereaved parents like Greg Merton. He didn't work with him, but people who are in that situation, who've maybe lost a child who's been killed in an automobile accident with a drunk driver or something horrible, horrible like that. And he teaches people how to let go and how to forgive. And so Fred Luskin was invited into American Express Company to teach forgiveness training to stockbrokers. Now, I thought that was kind of weird, because if I were American Express, I would have created a focus group of all my customers who've been losing money for the last 5 years, and I would have had the forgiveness training for them. But it didn't happen that way. So Fred Luskin went into American Express, and he established all his baseline studies, being a wonderful social scientist that he is. And he put together a one-year program in forgiveness training. There was some coaching. There were some workshops. They all read his book, which is called Forgive for Good. And after a year, he did his new measurements, his new gauges of what had happened. And stress levels had declined 25% after a year. Positive feelings had increased 20%. And productivity, compared with the stockbrokers' peers from within the same company, had increased 60%. He was so flabbergasted that the results were as powerful as that he repeated the same experiment again and again and again, so that he put 4 cohorts of stockbrokers through forgiveness training. And in the end, in the final analysis, the forgiveness-trained stockbrokers outperformed their peers by between 60, a low of 60, and a high of 400%. Moral of the story, when you're at peace with yourself, when you're at peace with others, you're more productive. Who'd have thunk it? I mean, we have this, we live in this world where, you know, we associate productivity with stress and pulling your hair out and running around and doing email and all this stuff. When in fact what Fred Luskin taught these people how to do was to let go of whatever was bothering them. To let go of and forgive, to let go of that argument you had with your spouse or your teenage son that morning. To let go of the rude client who just hung up on you, or the comment that your boss made. And he taught people how to just be more in the present. And when you're in the present, you can listen to your customers, you can hear their needs, and naturally, you're going to be more productive. And isn't it interesting that this being in the present, this letting go of the past, is so similar. It's so similar to that state of meditative state that the engineer is in when he or she is just being present with the whatever technical problem is up for them. So I think there's one other aspect, there's one other strange way in which spirituality helps productivity, and I'd like to just briefly talk about that. You know, business gurus like Stephen Covey and such tell us that the goal of business is to manipulate the external world. That's what we're told, to control, to manipulate the external world, to make things happen, to have things go your way. But the spiritual question is, how can you control the external environment if you can't even control your own thoughts and emotions? Your own thoughts and emotions. And the surest route to this kind of self-mastery is through the contemplative and spiritual practices of journaling, meditation, contemplation, mindfulness. The sort of activity that a stressed out type A person would absolutely hate. And when I picture those fallen heroes of free enterprise that march across our TV screens from WorldCom and Tyco and Enron and all of the rest, I think to myself, you know, if you had just sat down for a minute, collected yourself, thought this through instead of running around and talking on the cell phone and doing the Palm Pilot, you know, maybe it would have occurred to you that this is a really stupid idea. This is really kind of a stupid idea. So meditation will bring you closer to the divine, but it'll also keep you from making some very, very foolish mistakes, because meditation, self-mastery, clarifies thought. It enhances your intuition. It curbs your unhealthy instincts. And these are exactly what leaders need today. What leaders need today.